The white room is carefully arranged for maximum serenity. It is a small study in Dr. Fletcher's house, sparsely furnished. Clumsy photographic lights are nailed to the wall to provide sufficient illumination. Microphones are hidden in specially selected places. The camera shoots through a pane of glass, which renders it relatively unobtrusive. Only the noise of the motor is a problem, but this is muffled with a blanket and anything else handy. From this cramped vantage point, photographer Paul de Gay will record the famous White Room sessions, a remarkable document in the history of psychotherapy.
By today's standards, White Room sessions would seem very primitive. And yet they were really quite effective in developing a very strong personal relation between doctor and patient. The question whether Zelig was a psychotic or merely extremely neurotic was a question that was endlessly discussed among us doctors. Now, I myself felt that his feelings were really not all that different from the normal, maybe what one would call the well-adjusted normal person, only carried to an extreme degree, to an extreme extent. I myself felt that one could really think of him as the ultimate conformist.
Leonard, do you know why you're here?
To discuss psychiatry, right?
You're a doctor?
Yes, I am. Perhaps you read my latest paper on delusional paranoia. Turns out the entire thing is mental.
No, suppose I tell you you're not a doctor.
Well, I would say that you're making a joke. And tell you, is it always so bright in here?
Oh, I'm recording these sessions on film, if you don't mind.
No, there's somebody behind there, right?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
That's the camera.
Mm-hmm. Leonard, why don't we start with simple reality? Leonard, you're not a doctor.
No?
No. You're a patient, and I'm the doctor.
Well, I wouldn't tell it to too many people if I were you.
Leonard, you're not a doctor.
Is she going to be all right? Because what is this? I've got to get back to town. Really, I have an interesting case treating two sets of Siamese twins with split personalities, getting paid by 8 people.
The first week's sessions did not go too well, writes Dr. Fletcher in her diary. Leonard identifies with me and is convinced that he is a doctor. He is guarded and suspicious. There is something very appealing about him, too. He is quick-witted and energetic. Perhaps it is his very helplessness that moves me. I must keep flexible and play the situation by ear.
How are you today, Leonard?
Fine. And I got to get back to town soon. I teach a course at the Psychiatric Institute in masturbation.
I see.
Doctor,
I see. Guilt-related masturbation.
No, not guilt-related. I teach advanced. Quite a respected doctor there,
Leonard, I'd like you to your eyes follow this pen and just let yourself breathe deeply.
Why? What?
Relax.
No, you're trying to hypnotize me, obviously.
Do you mind?
Yes, of course I mind. I'm a doctor. I'm
Leonard, you're not a doctor.
I am a doctor.
Just relax.
No, I can't. I'm due back in town. I have this masturbation class. If I'm not there, they start without me.
As the weeks go by, Dr. Fletcher grows more and more frustrated. Leonard continues to insist he is a doctor and even refuses to let me hypnotize him, she writes. I believe his experiences of the past year have made him more defensive than ever. It is discouraging.
She was under great pressure. You could tell she was moody and nervous. He was fine, napping, sitting in his chair reading. He used to refer to himself as Dr. Zelig. He was reading books on psychiatry.